Some of the shine sparking puzzles are definitely a little tricky though, even though they're not as bad as Zero Mission. I'd say they're comparable to Fusion. Like, Fusion did have a lot of tricky ones up its sleeve, so you still have to watch out for that for sure, not a pushover. But here we go, this is gonna be like the first real shine spark. All the way down, crouch! And cutscene! Yeah, I love how they do the cutscene for the first time you activate that guy. Yeah, man, that is just fantastic. Freaking love it. Alright, and now, since we have that, we are going to be going back to... Yeah, pretty sure we're gonna go to... No, I need the yellow teleporter. Where's the yellow teleporter? Yeah, pretty sure that is actually going to be... Yeah, to the right over here. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do right here. Because I know what we have to get now, but it's gonna be quite a ways away. Yeah, screw you. You're not gonna take me out with that. And it's gonna be, right, this way. But some of the shine sparking, it can be a little aggravating, don't get me wrong. Not as challenging as Zero Mission, like when it came to the ones that, especially that you would kind of do in the post-game, honestly. But that was definitely kind of the one big obstacle for me when it came to 100% completion. Because a lot of these power-ups are not super deceptively tucked away or anything like that. If you just kind of explore enough, like, you'll definitely find it eventually. But some of the shine sparking, like, yeah, not that great. I do really love how we have the change to how it's activated, though. Oh yeah, we have that thing right there, so... Oh yeah, I need the teleporter. It didn't hurt that I actually just went ahead and activated that, though. We're gonna need that sooner rather than later. Do I want to save? I'll go ahead and save, why not? I should say, though, this little portion of the game right here is the first time that I actually got quote-unquote lost in Metroid Dread, because I want to say this is kind of the first... Yeah, really, this is kind of the first time period in the game, the first segment of the game. To get another shine spark over here. It doesn't cutscene every single time, so if you were nervous about that, don't worry. But this is kind of the first time in the game where it's not really obvious where you kind of have to go. And that was another kind of object of contention for Metroid Dread, that a lot of people didn't really get lost, necessarily. I was like, man, what game were you guys playing? Was I just dense? Am I dumb? Am I stupid? Because I got lost. Or maybe lost isn't exactly the right word. I mean, for me, whenever I get a new power-up and I'm just kind of playing a game, when I'm playing a Metroidvania, not for the camera and not for online, just kind of playing it of my own volition, my first thought is like, let me just go back to all the areas and see if there's anything, right? Because I had noticed, oh, there's like speed booster doors here and there. Not really doors, but the blocks. So my first thing was not like, oh, where do I go next necessarily? But more so a... Oh, more missiles. More so like, okay, how can I go back to Dayrod and Artaria and actually just, like, get everything that there is to get over there now? And just so happens that we do have to come back here to Artaria to actually get the next power-up, so I don't really buy into the more common criticisms that, oh, Dread is a little too linear. Again, I think it's very much like Zero Mission. I was gonna say and Fusion too, but I want to say that it's very much like Zero Mission in the way that, yeah, it may seem linear on the surface, especially a lot more linear than Super Metroid was, but there is some pretty extreme sequence-breaking potential here, absolutely. Again, if you watch, like, a speedrun on YouTube or something like that, again, which I recommend, because not only does Dread feel absolutely a joy to play and control and things like that, but it's also a lot of fun to watch. They sequence break all the freaking time in the speedruns. It's very awesome to watch. Reminds me of the best parts of Super Metroid, really. Not as open-ended as that game, but hey, pretty freaking close. About as close as you can get without people complaining that they got too lost, you know? And here we go, Grapple Beam, making its long-awaited 2D return, after... There we go, that's the one. After not being present in Metroid Fusion, so good to see you back in a 2D Metroid game. Oh, I guess it wasn't Samus Returns, so do I really miss it that much? But this comes into one of my minor gripes with Fusion, and I don't know, it's probably better than what the alternative was. If you guys remember back in my Super Metroid playthrough, I noted that, like, one of the few negatives of that game is that it was kind of difficult and kind of clumsy to switch between, like, your missiles and your super missiles and your grappling beam and your scanning thing and things like that. Dread remedies that. There's nothing to scroll through, but there are a lot of buttons to push, like, a whole lot. And sometimes, if you're playing this for the first time, I definitely feel like a little butterfingers after a while by doing it, not gonna lie. Like, you kind of feel like, oh, I'm like pressing the missile button when I mean to do the grapple button, and Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I just find as I get older that I'm just kind of becoming more and more stupid. More and more stupid in the way that I just, like, don't control games as well as I used to, unfortunately. But, yeah, that's the door that I opened up earlier with the speed boost, and now we're gonna come right back up here. Fantastic. Another elevator! Man, how many elevators and teleports am I gonna have here? Long story short, yeah, I think everyone will get used to it if they just play the game enough. Like, switching between all the modes and whatnot. Really not that big of a concern. I don't really like some of the grapple bean segments later on, but when we see it, you'll know it. And here we go, another brand new area, Ferenia. Ooh, very reminiscent of, dare I say, Skytown Elysia, back in Metroid Prime 3. And you guys remember what that one was all about. That one was all about kind of the Chozo settlement in that planet, high above the clouds. So I really like that too. Now this is, you know, another very Chozo-esque area. We've got the Chozo statues right there, and a lot of Chozo architecture, of course, and how it reminds me a lot of Skytown. So another aesthetical choice that is borrowed from Metroid Prime 3. Again, yet another fantastic example of Dread taking elements from pretty much every game in the series and just melding them all together for a fantastic package. And I missed the phase shift on that one. Yay. Where are you, Emmy? Go ahead and ruin my day. I'm waiting for it. Nowhere to go but down. Ah, and Chozo murals, just like back in Zero Mission as well. Interesting murals. Did that just go through the wall? Oh no. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in Metroid game history, a live Chozo. In the flesh and blood. Or feathers and blood, I guess.
Anaman Henki Maradis, Pisalakuta ili Zohar Hasana, ili Chozo Manfaragai Atasen Maburis, Ashkar Behek, Ninu Gabara Neporien Levat Balis Henniku, Hemsenili Tanumar Tarbi Chozo Rahama Hasana, Maburis ili Maukin, Sahari Lin ili Maukin, Pinoras Hasana Tarbi Chozo. Urairisi dos Karodan ili Mathroid, Nirmugi talar suradis me ili agarna lima, Uramahar pantamugi dos saral pura Mathroid, Kunihabari hundar talasabekes en holchanim, Linkatalu ili uliris, Sabalba, Ashkar behek, Hasari gale ubana dos elegar mir, Ninu barash nek ili ferun tar hadar, les ninu kedar, ili mathroid mugi, tanam tar bi hadar bunta, eiris dos eka ili gimel, ashkar behek gabori dos balan ili mathroid, dos ili tarin nalima hemsatar, humpim bi kalki sakra, dos horek bura, ninu mehirin ili zoha hasana, Bimura Kabara ili Sahali, Dosuran ili Mathroid. Kalmir Tostek, Ananakoden Mugi Akalai. Ashkar Behek hem ili Maukin, Hasana Hasari Anabalta dos Humahar Sarian. Ili Tarin Alima, Les Nudakan dos Geren Humahar Korgangal Turuta Mathroid. Sabalba, Talaris le shak sirugali nevak, Hemmugi lamai dos goro humahar yoris me kohana. Aitar ili gelsu manu naloni ishka ili agarna lima, Mugi garama bi eris les nido. Ili tarin lima megori le shakutanka, Ontar humahar gelsun mugi barilin ilieris. Arek ebores ashkar behek elmeirisi dos karodan hum. Ninu aros hakame ninu mahar meheni dos tumema ninu mahar yoris. Ishili mathroi meili agarna lima. Habari bama mugi sarali lina tamahar toshek. Nutili mathroi desborodo. Ilioristar ashkar behek, dora habar bados les maradan. Has bados les maradan, ashka ulugal ata. Iliemai marhuma satari lin ashkar behek. Tamus arlan, feje hadoran. Ninu habar kumane humdos, devolen nili mathroi dim ishkanulisa tamaharisbi.
Kino ulo truta, ana maril sanur pura, ay marhel kalom.
Ata estor daburis urahama. Ana habar kisadi ilisaka. Ana manbala meyata tamus.
And here we go, absolutely no time to process any of that, because we have the mechanical Chozo soldier, and these guys do not mess around. I have a lot to say about that cutscene, though. It's pretty freaking awesome, I have to say. But the phase shift is where, God, it's like freaking necessary if you want to beat these guys. You have to phase shift back and forth, and up and down and all around if you want to beat these guys. These guys can be pretty freaking difficult to deal with. Oh, that one, like, there. If it's red, you're not able to counter it. If it's not red when he does, like, the little swinging motion, that means that you can counter it. Who knows, I might get the opportunity to show that off. Who knows? So if you get really close, like that, right there we go. Give us an opportunity to get a lot of hits in. Ah, man, I really thought we'd be able to finish it off right there. Man, these guys are just damage sponges, though. Which I will say right now is one of my problems with some of the bosses later on in Dread. A lot of them are just flat damage sponges for sure. And they get a little repetitive as well, but okay, there we go. Not too much of an issue there. But man, of course, the first life Chozo in a Metroid game ever is just killed before our eyes. Rest in peace, Quiet Robe. But man, that is an awesome cutscene, really gives a lot of context to what we're doing here in Dread. Introduces the main villain, Ravenbeak, and how he's part of the warrior Mawkin tribe. I like to show this little thing off too. We go back in here, the enemy's just standing there. Thankfully, Quiet Robe disabled them, so he's not gonna hurt us anymore, but I would have kind of preferred if he had just died. He's just sitting there, nah, it makes me a little uneasy. But I really like the fact that we had the music in that one, you know, like a lower burn star, red burn star, I believe is the technical name for it. Oh, and by the way, I could do some shine sparking right here if I wanted that plus 10, but I don't really want to deal with it right now. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and talk through the loading screen here, to be honest. As we're going to go right back to Iran, then we're going to have to hop, jump, and skip over to Berenia to do that as well. Actually, I think I'm going to have plenty of time to talk while we're backtracking through Dayron, so put a pin in that. Gotta give my thoughts after this. First and foremost, oh my god, Samus had a voice. I was never expecting that ever. I was fully prepared for Samus. The only thing that she would ever say would just be grunts and ants from here on. Fantastic to hear she has a voice, even if it was Chozo babble. Did not think they'd have the guts for that after Other M, but well done, guys.
Our profile friend has explained much. We now know why the enemy are pursuing you. Samus Aran, Ravenbeak lured you here. He wants the Metroid DNA that exists only within you. I have confirmed that Quiet Robe has deactivated all remaining enemies. You should now be able to reach the surface unthreatened. The route Quiet Robe opened is in Berenia. Return there immediately.
Yeah, there we go, no problem. So really awesome that we had some Red Bryn Star thing returning, very appropriate, because that was from Zebes, you know, the home planet of the Chozo, at least one of their colonies, I suppose. Really good to hear Samus speak again. I did not think they would ever have the balls to do that again, so great. I'm glad that we're not just running with our tail tucked between our legs at the first sign of, like, anything happening anymore. And I actually need to get to Berenia, so yeah, this works, because we have that path right there. Yeah, do I just want to probably not the most economical way, if we're being honest, but I'm already going this way, so who freaking cares? This is what we're doing. We're gonna stick with it. But also, I really love how it kind of recontextualizes what we're doing here in Dread. And this is when I kind of have to remedy something that I neglected to do back in Samus Returns. I didn't show you guys, like, the gallery that you can unlock by doing, like, completion stuff in Samus Returns. I showed off, like, kind of the speedrunning thing that you get with Samus in her Zero suit, but I did not show the pictures that you could unlock, because one of them kind of did hint towards a Chozo faction, like a rogue Chozo faction that was very warrior in nature. So now here in Dread, it follows up on that little tidbit that was added to the Metroid 2 story with Samus Returns by naming the warrior Chozo tribe and actually giving them their leader, being Ravenbeak, and all that really good stuff, so I enjoy that. And I also love how Samus says, like, I'll finish this once and for all, like, I'll end this. Because it really does give Dread this sense of finality to the story that has been going on since, God, the 80s with the original Metroid. I mean, granted, they didn't know it was going to be a huge thing back then. But this story has been building on itself since the original Metroid, with Metroid 2 and then Super, and then, I guess, Fusion and Other M. Yeah, that's kind of like all the really important plot beats for this story. And I really like how we're getting that sense of finality right here, and I am just going the complete long freaking way. Dude, what are you doing? Get your act together. I'm jabbering on too much, that's what I'm actually doing here. I should have gone to this door up here instead of keep going down, because this is going to be the fastest way to get to Berenia. Well, we could have gone to Berenia by the other path too, but I have to get all the way up to the top of Berenia anyway to get where we're gonna go. As we saw with the path that our Chozo friend actually opened up before his very untimely death. But I do like the sense of finality that Dread has for what you could call the quote-unquote main story of the Metroid series. And I think it's appropriate too, because, you know, again, Dread is gonna be the last game I play for this one. And so, you know, it's my last journey on YouTube right here, my last journey with putting videos up on the internet, so it feels really nice that it's kind of Samus's last journey as we know it too. I just feel like it's really appropriate. And I do kind of want to finish a thought that I started earlier when it comes to things like that. I did kind of just mention the state of what playing video games on the internet actually is, and how my format is just kind of like very outdated for sure. Oh, we're gonna finally be able to do something right here too, since I actually have the speed booster now. Give me my energy card. Thank you. Oh, that's 4. Nice. Go ahead and take it. But another way I kind of feel that way is that I know, like, all the really big... Oh, and the grapple beam is super effective against these guys now. Not nearly as painful to take them down now, thank God. Ugh. But another reason why I just don't really have the drive to continue onward for right now is just that all the attention is on, like, the Twitch streaming and things like that, and I know I mentioned that I feel like an old man, and that's definitely still the case, because, I don't know, I see people with, like, I guess they're, like, VTubers now, like, some people have, like, they have, like, dogs, like, replaced for themselves on screen, and, like, some of them have anime guys, like, their own self-image is all, like, animated up. And some of them, you know, there's like super hot girls now with giant jiggling breasticles, so I don't know, I just feel like an old man. I felt like an old man whenever Facecam kind of became the normal one, that it was weird if you were playing a game on the internet and you weren't showing your face in some capacity. And granted, I guess I could have always done that. I can't really say I was ever super uncomfortable with something like that, but it just kind of felt like that's not what I had grown up watching on YouTube necessarily. It's not what I had, like, watched and I was like, oh, I want to do that too. Like, Facecam was never really kind of an element in that necessarily, so when that started getting really popular, I kind of felt lost right there. But then when this whole VTuber stuff has started up, and, you know, like, now the super popular thing to do is just, like, play on Twitch and, like, upload your best of clips to YouTube and things like that. And the clips that you do upload to YouTube are, like, all these heavily curated, like, super funny, like, super laughing and super entertaining bits, and just... Man, I barely had the time to just edit normal... Okay, I'm just gonna go. Screw you. I barely had the time to just edit, like, normal episodes. Let alone, like, Twitch stream and then, like, just go through and get all the quote-unquote funniest bits and upload them in compilations. Like, man, I never had time for that, so... And plus, let's not lie. Like, I'm on the wrong side of the 20s right here. The wrong side of 25, you could say. Like, 30 is closer than 20 at this point. And I feel like in a lot of ways this is a younger people's activity, kind of a younger people's sport. Do I want to heal up? I think there's a healer over here, right? I think I want to grab that. Yeah, I want to do that. I'm down like 3 energy tanks, man. Let me grab that. But yeah, if I'm not super passionate about it anymore, and I just kind of feel like the internet, YouTube, gaming world has kind of passed me by anyway, it's like, I don't know, it just kind of adds to my kind of wanting to leave this chapter behind me, kind of just feeling really old and really tired and really out-of-touched and washed up. Oh, I guess in order to be washed up, you actually had to be, like, in touch to begin with. I kind of hesitate to say I was even that. I don't know, maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit here exactly, but I don't know, just kind of something else that I feel, and I can't really, like, change the way I feel about that, so I don't know, just kind of how it goes. Oh, and this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the first super annoying grapple beam portion. Let's see if I can get this in one go. I don't know, the grapple beam is just not something I'm a huge fan of in this game. You jump. Oh, and I actually got it right there. Well, at least, like, it's pretty lax right here. You don't have to be super precise with getting it. Definitely kind of made me nervous whenever I was doing the speed run, because I kept messing that up, but... Oh, boss door. Wonder what that means.